things of the Lord. A chartered course, a chartered path, and anytime the children get off the path, it is the parents' responsibility to correct them. And that is why we find so much instruction, so much biblical wisdom in the book of Proverbs regarding training a child, but then it is the rod of correction. How many people in here know about that rod of correction? You know about that rod of correction. This is why we're having so many difficulties in the church today, because of the generational parenting. The older saints in the church look at the younger families and say, you need to get that rod of correction. But the young parents are afraid today because these children have child protective services on the cell phone speed dial. And so the parents are afraid today, questioning whether or not correction is a part of parenting. Let me say this clearly. It is a part of parenting. I'm not talking about, I understand abuse, and I understand that we have abusive parents. We found on the front page of the paper this week a mother and a father who are going to be sentenced to over 20 years in jail because of abuse. We're not talking about that. What do we see with God? God gives loving correction and discipline. We know the wave of society today is not that at all, that the psychologists who know more than God simply say that you do not correct, you reason, it's reason, and time's out, sit in the corners and so forth. The older generation is saying what? I can remember the day when there was a reverential respect for parents because our parents corrected us. Proverbs says that a child left to himself will bring shame to his mother and father. We cannot just let children just do whatever they want to do. We can't reason. Paul says, when I was a child, I thought like a child. I understood as a child, but when I became a man, I understood and I put away childish things. Parents are to set the course in the things of the Lord. They are to chart a clear path. And when the children get away from that, they are to correct them with loving and caring discipline. I believe literally in what Paul says. He says the rod of correction. What was that? It was just simply a piece of a tree that was only a certain length, and it was not to do any damage to the child. That's why Proverbs said, you ain't going to kill him. You're not going to kill him. That's not the objective. The objective is loving discipline. Some of you say, a tree. What about extension cords and belts and Hot Wheel tracks and shoes and lamp cords and whatever's available? They ain't got time to be going out after you go get a piece of tree. Whatever's available when we was growing up was you. Quite effectively, I might add. But we're not talking about abuse here. We're not talking about this. But what we're saying, if there's a need today, you learn that at home so that when you got to the school, you have already learned the importance of coming up under authority so that when you face that teacher and when you face the public, you had a respect for adults. Listen, I have a 78-year-old cousin that because this was so ingrained in my mind, we've always called her Auntie, because we were taught you don't approach an adult without putting a handle on that name. So you better say uncle or auntie, and to this day, I don't call my uncles and aunts by their first name. Because there was something that the parents did in that previous generation to correct you, certain words you didn't say. But now you go into the stores and these children have been left to themselves and running around, telling, controlling the parents in society, the school can't do anything, the parents can't do anything, society can't do anything, and yet the call is, leave them alone. Leave them to themselves. Only for you, because I didn't and I can't, or I'm afraid to correct them while they're young, and you say that if I do that, that's abuse, only for them to grow up and then you lock them in a small cell like a prisoner, like an animal, and that's okay. With all kinds of abuses and so forth. And yet, Proverbs says you do it while they're young. That's the goal. Children have to learn obedience, Paul says, because it is the right thing to do.